Make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door.
I need like drums or something. Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. We made it through the week, our premiere week. We've got one more show and a break, and then all new shows again next week with all brand new people. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. I always feel like I need drums for our theme song, which was written by Big Infinite. They're a band out of Maryland that they were actually my first guests on my last show, the Richard Wilmore Show. And an amazing group of guys doing wonderful things out there for mental health and suicide prevention. And you should look them up. Big Infinite is the name of the band. They've got some really, really good music, and they're great guys. We were supposed to have Akua Kant here today, and she had to cancel at the last minute. And so we're going to reschedule her. So I hope that she's doing okay, and I think she'll be back in July when we have some space open. We've got people lined up for this show, which is very, very exciting. But if you do want to be a guest, you can just comment on this video wherever you're watching it or listening to it, or email us at makeyourdayricher@gmail.com. We'd love to have you on the show. We've got all kinds of people, businesses, people doing wonderful things out in the world, and it's a really fun time. So you should come and be a guest on the show and look at our social media, contact us on there. It's pretty easy. I'm everywhere. What am I doing this weekend? Do I have any big plans? My friend Lisa is in town. Lisa, if you're watching, I love you. She's in town from San Antonio for a wedding. She has family out here, which is exciting that we moved out here last year, and so we have a built-in semi-regular friend visitor who's coming. So Lisa's in town, so we're going to probably get dinner tomorrow. If you're in the Charlotte area and you know a good place that has vegan and non-vegan food, let me know, and I'll take your recommendation and we'll go there with her. What else is new? Supporting the show. Huge to support the show. So Make Your Day Richer is a podcast production company. It's the name of the show. It's my small business that I started, really in 2016, and have really been focusing on it a lot this year in 2024. And so, there's no better way to support a small business than to buy them a coffee. So you can go to buymeacoffee.com/makeyourdayricher and buy me a coffee or two. And it's a great way to support the show and make sure that we continue to be able to produce this show every day for you. And I hope you are really getting a lot out of it, because I'm enjoying meeting all the people and I know they're enjoying telling their stories. So, okay, so I don't know if you know me at all, if you can kind of tell, there's a lot of stuff happening here. This show, me in general, as a talk show host, sprouted in 1997 when I came across a rerun of the Rosie O'Donnell show. And there was something about her that I really connected with. And obviously millions of other people did too. She looks like my mom. She was very similar. She looked like her. She sounded like her, kind of. She was funny like her. And, before she came out and before I came out, there was also some connection that I thought they were so similar. And she created an hour every day for me to go and provide peace and calm and fun and community. And that's really what this show is based on. And I'm truly thankful to have her in my world. I don't know. I've never met her before. We've been lucky enough to have her band leader on, John McDaniel. He opened up, I think, our 4th season of the Richard Wilmore Show coming up in a couple of weeks. I'm very excited to announce that one of her head writers on her show, Alan Katz, is going to be on here. He's a children's book author and a great guy, and he's going to come on here. So I'm really excited about that. But this entire thing, there's Rosie stuff everywhere. So in my plug to eventually get her on this show, because she makes my life richer, and we're just here to make your day richer, I'm going to grab something and show you. So it's a huge collection. There's stuff all over the studio, but I'm going to grab this. I'm a mug collector. My kitchen is full of mugs, and this mug I can't zoom in. I'm so sorry. I don't have that capability here. But this mug was a mug that I got as a gift that on her website. She used to write a lot of blogs. She was kind of one of the original people to do blogging. She had a blog spot back in the day, and she would write after she left her show. And then she created a line of mugs. Oh, I wish it would have had the date on here because it says posted by her. And someone got me this mug. So this mug says, I'm happier than I have ever been. I am adjusting. I talk too loud in a group. I cannot parallel park. I try to control things I shouldn't. I worry. And well, that's also me. But you know what? I am happier than I have ever been. And life is good. And this is just one of my lovely Rosie souvenirs. And so when she comes on at some point, I might just be sipping to see if she even notices that this is her mug. So we've got Koosh balls every day, I think, from now on. I'm just going to show you a little something Rosie related that makes my day happier. All right, we do have a really, really good guest today. So we're live every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, but we also know that sometimes you can't make that because people have lives. And so we have pre-recorded some of our guests, and for this exact reason, when someone can't come, doesn't show up, or I would like a vacation day. So today, the actual first interview that I did for this show about a month ago with Shabnam Naz Ansari, who I hope I'm pretty sure that's how she pronounces her name. Shabnam. She has an incredible story that you're going to want to hear. She's had an amazing life, a crazy life. You're going to hear all about her awful marriage, her having to give up custody of her children through all of that, and what she has been able to produce because of everything she's gone through is amazing. And she has created a world where people can connect themselves to places to volunteer. And I worked in the nonprofit world for many years. It's very difficult to find really good volunteers because of their time constraints and commitments. And from the other side, sometimes there's so many places to volunteer, you don't know how to find them. And she has created something called volunteerwell.org that is combining the two. So you can go on there, you can sign up, and then you can find charities that you want to volunteer for. And it's a great, great idea, and I'm really glad she's here. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and she's going to be here, and it's going to look different than it has all week, but that's because we recorded it and then changed a bunch of stuff. But it's still a really good interview, so you should stay tuned for that. All right, we'll be right back in a second. It's premiere week on Make Your Day Richer with Richard Wilmore, featuring Ashley and Becky, the hosts of the podcast Two Girls with Cancer. Self-Esteem Regime author Clarissa Burt, grief blogger Jason Tuttle, the LinkedIn cheerleader Aquacant, weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern starting June 10th. Shabnam, thank you so much for jumping on and talking to me today.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Richard. It's a pleasure to be here.
You wanted to share your personal story of resilience and success is what you wrote to me, and I thought, well, why would we not kick off the series with that and with you? So I know you've had quite a life and quite a story, and I know we could probably talk to you for 4 hours and still not get everything in that you've been through and accomplished and done, but I'd love for you to share some of the highlights and some of the things you've learned over the years.
Yes. So my name is Shabnam Naz Ansari. I'm the founder and executive director of a registered charity by the name of a Volunteer Well. What we do is we connect people with each other on the basis of volunteering. So instead of volunteering through a middleman or through a charity, the idea is to give help and seek help from each other, from neighborhoods, in order to connect communities together. That is the whole earmark of what I'm doing. In terms of the reason as to why I'm doing what I'm doing is based on my my personal story. So born and brought up in Pakistan as a Muslim, entered into a 13-year-long abusive marriage in all its aspect. Went to the court to get divorce, entered into a 3-year-long character assassination legal battle in the court, end-to-end family and friend pressure, bribing of lawyers by him. So what happened was that at the end of the 3-year period, when I finally got the divorce, I had given up on the system. I was at that point of time senior vice president at the second largest bank in Pakistan, really strongly connected to my children, 2 girls and a boy, aged 8 years, 6 years, and 4 years at the time. But when I gave up on the system and everything, I went to Dubai in search of a job. But I couldn't get anything, which was at the same par of my SVP position at the bank. I came back, and as soon as I came back, my ex applied for the custody of the children. Was at that point of time at my weakest, didn't have the strength or the courage to go through another court case battle. Went to the court and handed over the custody of my children with my own hands.
Oh my gosh.
To my ex, and I left the country. I left the country as a rebel in terms of not only just the system and the procedures and the law and everything, but also in terms of my culture, my identity, my religion, my family, my friends. So I became a true rebel in every possible sense. But later on, when I start reading the holy book, I realize that this is not what the divine is expecting us to do. What everybody else is following is just hearsay. So I made it a life mission to really implement what the divine wants us to do, which is just 2 key principles. One is that whatever we are given, be it in terms of our time or effort or wealth or money or skills, we are given as a trustee, as a caretaker. We are to spend for the benefit of others. And the second is that we are not expected or asked to judge or exclude anybody else. We are expected to connect people together based on what makes us human. Love, compassion, care, justice for everyone, and our duties as caretakers of the planet Earth. So that's what connects us together. And these are the 2 divine principles that we follow at the charity. So I made it my life mission to make sure that everyone is connected. No one feels isolated. No mother has to go through what I went through. In terms of my children, I kept on fighting for the custody of my children, got them. So I kept on fighting from here through the laws and the courts in Pakistan, got them reunited with me after 8 years. My eldest is now 25-year-old. My younger one is now, the son is now 20-year-old. I've got a bonus daughter from my current marriage and a younger 7-year-old. So we are proud parents of five children.
Oh my gosh.
But in terms of because it was an 8-year-long gap, I realized when I got them reunited that I'm not a mother to them anymore. I'm still getting there. I'm still bridging the gap. I'm trying to be there, but I'll be there. But through all of that, all of this life suffering, I have got my life passion. I've got what the 2 divine principles are, and I'm projecting it. I'm implementing it at the Volunteer Well charity, which is just nothing. It's a marketplace for volunteering. So it is basically what's happening in the world today is that people volunteer their efforts and skills to a local charity, to a local church or a hospital. Similarly, people seek help from that local charity, but they both remain disconnected from each other. What if we can start a small ripple of kindness where people are connected to their neighborhood in terms of seeking help from their neighbor, offering help to their neighbor directly? So that is all the why, the reason behind the charity and the mandate that we are doing.
I worked for a nonprofit for almost a decade, and finding volunteers and finding good volunteers who, were dedicated is really hard to do because people are so busy. How many how many people do you have? I have so many questions. One, like, do your kids now understand kind of everything that happened, or what is that relationship like? It has to be so difficult as the mother to
Yes.
go through that, and then to try to mend all of that pain and all of that time lost. I can't imagine.
Yes, yes. So I celebrated my 50th birthday just last this March.
Oh, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you so much. And in that 50th birthday, I invited all my close friends and relatives to basically tell them two things. One is in terms of giving them a sneak peek into the 50 years of my life, and also in terms of saying thank you and a gratitude to each and every one of them for these 50 years of my life. And my children were there, all of them. And when I shared my story, my eldest then later on also made a speech in terms of thanking me and treating me as an inspiration for her. So I think I'm getting there in terms of them realizing that the biggest regret of my life, the decision that I made, under what circumstances that was. It was basically for survival. But during those 8 years, I have heard them saying to me that you abandoned us, or you're not a mother to us anymore. But obviously, they now understand. They are now at a much connected level to where I was. Although I'm not a typical mother in any possible sense, but they do. So I'm getting there in terms of being connected, being in their lives in terms of mother. So my relationship is definitely improving, for sure.
Good. I know sometimes, it sucks when you have to go through awful, awful things to kind of get on the other side of that and go, oh, I went through that awful thing to get to know what I'm supposed to be doing with my life, right? Like, how come I couldn't find an easier path to figure out what I should have been doing, right?
I know, and this is so amazing that you said that, because when you're going through all of that, you ask the question, why me? And now you're able to connect the dots to a much bigger, higher purpose that's beyond. So if I were to go through all of that suffering to reach that life purpose that I have reached right now, I would happily do it again. I'm at a stage where I have found what is missing in our communities. So in terms of my vision that I have, the lifelong mission and mandate that I have is in terms of being able to have this platform where everyone is coming together, be it in terms of the community members, be in terms of the nonprofit and the charities, where we all come together to make and be this united human family, where we shatter all the discriminatory boxes that people would like to box us in. It's a beauty in diversity. It's not in spite of our differences that we are beautiful. It's because of our differences that we are so beautiful together. It's amazing.
And are the charities and the volunteers from can anybody go on to sign up, or is it in a specific area, or how does that work?
Yes, so Richard, we have launched this charity. It's still a baby charity. We started our programs in May of 2023, and we are in the process of redeveloping the website, the overall platform. Right now, on our platform, those volunteers who are offering their services to those around their neighborhood are around 24 to 25 only, with around 66 or 70 services so far. But in terms of the charities and the local businesses, we have a separate page whereby what we are doing is we are collaborating with all the local businesses and nonprofit sector and charities together on one platform, and we'll be hosting monthly events whereby we'll be focusing on again, shattering discriminatory boxes in one way or another. So combining all the charities that are working together, local businesses that are working together towards a common cause through these events is what we are planned to do from July and onwards.
Gosh, what have you learned since 2023 with forming this and founding this? It's so much work that goes into that.
Yes, and it's a bit of a learning experience, right? So in spite of the fact that I have been working for, 28 years in the senior management space in different aspects, I set up our own insurance brokerage with my husband. I set it up from scratch, got it up and running successfully, handed it over to him, and now I'm running this charity. So again, it's a learning curve because the charity space is entirely different than a profitable or a commercial space in very many ways. We are set up for failure, right? It's not easy.
That's exactly true. That's how I felt, that we were set up to fail. Like, and your entire life is spent, or your entire life is spent begging to have your job and to raise the funds to be able to do what you do to help people.
Exactly. So it's been a learning curve. We started our programs in May of 2023. So what we have done is we have identified 7 segments which are the focus of our attentions, and these are the vulnerable segments. The idea is to empower these segments or advocate for issues for these segments, whereby we are shattering all the discriminatory boxes and connecting humanity based on what makes us human. So the 7 segments are elderly, youth, women, new immigrants, people with disabilities, low-income families, and anyone facing racism of any sort, be it LGBTQ++ communities, non-binary individuals, Black, Indigenous, or people of color families. The whole idea is to focus all our efforts on these defined segments when we are looking for local businesses or local charities. So we ran programs for all of these segments with the aim of going for increase in volunteer pool. So we ran programs to empower these communities and then asking them to pay it forward in terms of becoming volunteer on our network. So the idea was to flip the script. Instead of asking everyone to help them, we were empowering them and asking them to become volunteers for their communities. And that's how we are connecting communities with them at the center. That was the whole idea. So it's a big vision. It's a big mandate. And we will get there. Definitely.
That's why I always say to new nonprofit leaders and people in the nonprofit world is that if you're at least moving forward like a step every 6 months, make that as a positive, because it is so much work. How can people, like, what do you need from people? Do you need donations? Do you need volunteers? Like, how can people out there support not only like what you're doing in your mission, but also the charity itself?
Yes, so there are 3 to 4 different ways. One is in terms of joining the Volunteer Well platform for whatever you can do. So, for instance, you are an individual who is a lawyer, for instance, and you have an hour of, let's suppose, available time during this week. You come on the platform, and the website is volunteer-well.org. You come on the platform, you register yourself as a volunteer for free legal advice. And you mention that these are the timings that you're available, or this is your postal code, in order to make sure that those who are around you can get in touch with you. So you open an account and they can get in touch with you through your own personal dashboard. What you're doing is, if for instance you think that you do not have any skills or any products or services that you can offer, you can still become an accompany buddy for a senior, can talk to a person who is feeling isolated just on the phone, just becoming a buddy to anybody. there. There's so much that we can do. At times we on an individual basis feel that there's not much that we can do to give back, but there's so much. We've been blessed with skills and time and efforts. There's so much that anybody can do. And what's happening is, the reason why we name is as volunteer well is well in terms of all of these aspects. Well is in terms of pool of volunteers who are giving volunteering to their surroundings. Well, also in terms of doing volunteering the right way, instead of routing it through a charity or routing it through a middleman, directly benefit those who are seeking that help. And well is also in terms of health and wellness, because when you want to uplift yourself, you uplift others. That's how you are happy and joyful and fulfilled. So that's the most important way you can join the cause.
Good.
The second is I'm sorry.
No, go.
The second is in terms of, like you said, donations, because there are many things that we need in terms of arranging these events, monthly events, going for speakers and venue and everything. There are many things that we need in terms of up and running of this platform. So donations is another key support through which you can help us. The third is also in terms of approaching us for collaboration. So if you are a part or of an organization or of a local businesses or a charity, or any of these causes are true to your heart, such as shattering of discriminatory boxes or any of these 7 defined segments, connect with me. And we can collaborate in so many ways, because alone we can only do so little, but together we can do so much.
And the moral of the story is, if you had time to watch this interview, you have time to volunteer with them. So if you watch this, that means you've got some time. So tell everybody again what the website is to go and volunteer.
Yes. So the website URL is volunteer-well.org.
Perfect. Thank you so much for jumping on and talking to me.
Thank you so much. It's been a true pleasure. And thank you so much for your understanding and inviting me, and for your very, very lovely, thought-provoking questions. Thank you.
I wish you all the best, and keep us posted and let us know all the fun milestones that you're reaching, because you're going to do so well.
I will, for sure. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you. We'll be right back after this. It's premiere week on Make Your Day Richer with Richard Wilmore, featuring Ashley and Becky, the hosts of the podcast Two Girls with Cancer. Self-Esteem Regime author Clarissa Burt, grief blogger Jason Tuttle, the LinkedIn cheerleader Aquacant, weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern starting June 10th. Thanks for watching, everyone. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the support you've given all this week. And we've got even more amazing shows coming up next week. We've got the host of the Quotivation podcast, Judy Powell, is going to be here. Sexual assault recovery coach, Marie McKenzie. We've got the author of the book, A Cup of Tea on the Commode, Mark Stephen Porro. And even more, because we're not done yet. 5 days a week, every day at 10 a.m. Don Mamone, who's talking about the benefits of never asking permission. And we're talking about pre-birth trauma with Bob Weischer. So it's going to be a big week next week. So tune in. Again, if you want to be on the show, makeyourdayricher@gmail.com. We'll see you all later. Go make someone's day better, including your own. All right. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.